Hello, my loves. How are you? So, I promised that I was going to come on and talk about money and the material world and sort of how to connect with it or what place it will have as we move into the new energies more deeply. And also, I'm going to dive into divine feminine's connection with money as well, because I've received a lot of requests for that. So, first off, obviously, many of us are really focusing on landing into the new earth energies, more of the 5D unity consciousness ways of being. And so when we tap into those energies, you hear a lot around that money is going to go away and we're not going to have it anymore and it's not going to be relevant, which I totally understand and can totally see that at some point that being a very genuine possibility. But as my guidance has taken me down this path of actually just getting into alignment with the new energies and using money as a tool in the new energy ways. Okay. So, a big part of this is because we're still bridging those energies. All of our systems are built around money. And so, in order to feed ourselves and clothe ourselves and house ourselves, money is a resource that we need at least for a while into the foreseeable future. But I feel that this is actually, again, another opportunity for us to actually look at what our resistance to money is truly about. Because money, in and of itself, is just paper and it's simply a resource for exchange, just like bartering. It's just in a certain form. And I think a lot of our resistance is really around the traumas that we see present in our world that are connected with money, the abuse, the use, the slavery templates, even, like just trauma that you may have experienced, or those very, very deep survival mechanisms that are connected with not having enough money, not having enough to provide the resources that are required to care for yourself and your family. And even the other side of it, the beliefs around that, like loving money or wanting money is actually not spiritually aligned, or it can be materialistic or shallow, right? So we have the other side of those things that we're sort of going in this dance, and we're getting it from every end that if you're spiritual, you shouldn't want money. And it's really about breaking down and neutralizing any of the limiting beliefs around money, around the material world, and around receiving the resources that would be supportive for you to move out of surviving and into a thriving and flourishing life. Okay. Actually embodying the prosperity energies. And it feels that actually, believe it or not, many of the divine feminines hold very important information around how to use money, work with money in the new energies. And so, again, it comes down to actually doing some deeper work around any of your resistance to money, receiving money, exchanging money, or even potentially feeling like that it's not okay to receive it or want it. I myself actually have gone through all of these that I'm talking to you about in a lot of ways. And I never had an issue with surviving. I mean, I would always do whatever I needed to do to handle my business. But when it came to moving out of the energies of survival and into thriving, was actually where I started to find the resistance was living. Okay, I sort of wanted to jump into those new earth energies and just not need money. And I even sat with it for a time as we were going through these transitionary years through the shutdown to see what was going to happen with the financial system. And yes, it's changing, but at the core of it, it's been pretty stable as our general exchange. And so, after a time of waiting, I did receive guidance to bridge the two together. And in that process, like I said to you, I was fine at surviving in the old ways, but I really wanted to build a flourishing, thriving foundation for myself in the new energy. And I, excuse me, I had to go into clearing any of my resistance to receiving money. And it was actually really interesting because I even tried to skirt it and say that I really wanted resources, right? Which was good. It is about the overarching resources. And remember, I said money is just a resource like anything else. But there was so much programming around money that it was still a way at that time I was somewhat skirting actually dealing with owning my connection and relationship to money. And I had to go in, and this was actually hard for me at one point. I actually took out some money, some paper money. I put it on my heart, and I actually started telling money that I loved it. And I know it was weird. I actually had and found that I had energetic resistance to it because of all those types of connotations, like, oh, if you love money, then that's all you care about, and X, Y, and Z, and all of those things that I think just go back even through the generations, or seeing people who had money or wealth that weren't very kind or nice, and those types of things and beliefs that really got deeper into our system, or even those beliefs of like monies doesn't grow on trees and things of that nature. And so I really spent some time actually, when I got down to the nitty gritty of it, actually just honoring my relationship with money and seeing my love for money beyond those old realms and those ideas of what it was, and actually loving it for caring for me, for helping me pay my rent, for helping me buy food. Do you see what I'm saying? So I changed my relationship with it, neutralizing my past traumas around it, because there's also, I think, many experience feeling that money is more important than them. Okay, whether it's like stressed out family members that are more focused on earning money than maybe spending time with their kids, or spouses that are arguing about money, just people who have experienced financial trauma and feeling less important than money in and of itself. Now, again, looking back at it, we know that this is actually an underlying survival mechanism within the relationship dynamic, but it can be intense to sort of work through those realizations, and maybe even some of the resistance can be connected to feeling that money is more important than people. Okay. That felt important to share for whoever connects with that part of it. And again, you might not have had that experience, but you may have it in your ancestral lines, because many of the ancestral lines have experienced poverty, famine, or all of those types of things where they were very much in a survival mode. Okay. So it feels important to look at any of your own underlying beliefs or trauma connected with money. As I'm saying that, I actually kind of sense that there might be some that are even less inconspicuous. Like it could be like growing up and hearing your parents conversating about money or their worries about money, and that may have, come up in your awareness. I just feel like there could be threads of ways that you have, um what's the word, these underlying like running programs about money. That is what's coming through very strong. So you're going to want to check in on that. You can definitely book a one-on-one with me if you want to look into that deeper. But again, it's really, the bottom line is it's about neutralizing your relationship to money, and then just loving it and owning it as a resource, just like you look at the food in your refrigerator. Okay, my loves, or the car or the vehicle that gets you from A to B and wherever you need to go, or the clothes that keep you warm on your back. Okay, just honoring it is part of what is helping you live your life and function. And that really, even if you're not in survival mode, but you find yourself like just getting by, or you know that you have a much bigger capacity and you want to have more resources in your life, but you're finding that you sort of like hit walls, or you seem to hit a certain point and you start to build momentum, but then it kind of goes backwards and it's really hard to get out of a rut. Like you might be able to make a certain amount and then it's hard to get past that amount, or you start to, but then it goes backwards. That is a really good time to look at your energy stores that could be past looping energies. Also, a very good time to check in with any places where your energy might be leaking or being siphoned. It's good to look at the physical body and making sure that you're healthy and strong so that you're able to maintain your energy for your work or however you're exchanging your money. With that, it's also very important that you're feeling an appropriate exchange for the work that you're doing. Because one of the things I see, like in the modern, conventional world, is people go to a job and they're working very intensely and giving a lot of their life force, and the exchange of um, money that they're receiving in return often isn't synonymous with the amount that they're putting out. And so they'll feel drained or tired. And that is something important to look at as well, because when you have the proper energetic exchange, you will not feel drained in that way. Okay. I didn't know that was going to come through. But it feels really important again to address your actual connection with money, because as especially the feminines, right? The feminines, the keys that the feminines are holding is actually bridging the higher energies with the physical world, right? So we know a lot of the feminines have the higher vision. They can see what the new earth templates are. They're holding that vision. They're working to embody it. Many of you actually have business ideas and creative ideas and visions for what the world is meant to look like, or how you want to share your gifts in the world, and you have that side of it. And then what I see a lot is that you have the way that you learn how to grow up in our physical 3D world, which is more of those masculine sort of pushing energies or action energies. But many of the feminines are learning how to bring those energies, those ideas and visions into her heart, allowing those to run through her heart is how, as the ideas and energies come through your heart, that is what's leading versus the money. Okay. But it's also very, very important that you allow yourself in the physical world to have containers or streams of ways that the world can pay you in exchange for the gifts that you're offering. Okay. So this is why it's important. Say, I've had multiple people talk to me about this. Say you're setting up your YouTube channel and you have a bunch of things that you want to offer: coaching, music, energy work, art, whatever it is that you're wanting to offer. This is an example. And you're going on there, but you're like, how am I going to get paid? Or you have services you want to give, like say coaching, right? So you want to make sure that you're still creating yourself a business foundation on the other end of it. No, the business principles might not be how you lead, but this is an opportunity for you to, okay, you have a bank account and you have like a credit card or a PayPal or ways that people can actually pay you. Okay. That's set up. That's a foundational stream of a way that you can create a relationship to receive money. Okay. Now, in the old way, people would say, this is my stream of money. I want to make money. And they focus on the money, 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 right? And it's not necessarily coming from their heart. They're just coming up with ideas, which is all okay. We're not judging it. But I know those of you here are working to bridge those new creations and the new ways of being. And this is where your special, intuitive, personal keys and codes come in because you're learning to bridge the two together. You are having your flowing, loving energy. You're running it through the heart. You're grounding it in. You're sharing your offerings out into the world, but you are doing it from a heart centered place where you're giving from your heart. You're leading from your heart. And then you're allowing for that energetic exchange from within who it's aligned. Okay, that's one example. You can do this in multiple ways, but the part that's important when you're looking at your traditional world business model, okay, I get this one too. Like people, do I have to post on social media every day? Do I have to do X, Y, and Z? Do I have to make cold calls? I feel like all of those things that do not feel aligned with your heart, you let those unravel and let those release. Allow yourself to post from your heart. Allow yourself to do these things when it feels in alignment with you. At the end of the day, whatever you're choosing, however you are choosing it, let it come from your authentic heart. Let your service be what's leading you, your service and your heart and your love. Let that lead, and then let the money flow in as an exchange to receiving the resources you need to care for yourself so you can continue to show up in your heart centered experiences and offerings. Okay. And I hope this is helpful. I feel like there is more. I do feel like you guys might have some other questions or scenarios connected with this. But again, I just want to recap. Money, in my guidance, is going to be here for a bit, right? We have to take care of ourselves and we want to start living now in the present. Of course, we want to look into the future. We want to look at those ways of exchanging and bartering and supporting one another in ways that are kind and harmonious. But we can also start doing that right here and right now with money. Okay. And I think it's actually an important bridge to the future ways of being, but also bringing the heart energy and the new energy into the present in your embodiment of those energies, of your relationship to money, to the material world, to the physical world, and to how you are operating within that system is what starts to bring in the new essence and energy into those places and spaces. This is how we start to build the world that we've been wanting to live in. Okay. First and foremost, you have to take care of yourself. You have to self care. You have to love yourself. And one of the ways that we are doing that is by providing ourselves with a stable financial foundation. Okay, my loves. Again, if you want more with this, let me know your questions in the comments. If you want to work one on one with me, I would be very happy to do that. I'll drop my schedule in the comments. And I'm definitely open to seeing where this topic heads. If there's more that wants to come through with it, I'm definitely open to that. But, oh, okay. I almost forgot this part. This is important. For some of the feminines, I experienced this, and I know I've talked to some of you who have, and or may be at this precipice of where you're seeing and feeling all of the new energy. You have your ideas, you're working on them, and you might be like at that precipice of like, but the money's not flowing in yet and everything's kind of dwindling down. What do I do? Do I go find a job? Do I move back home? Do I do X, Y, and Z? And I can't specifically, obviously, answer what's going to be right and correct for you and your circumstances, but I can tell you for me, all of those other options were blocked for me. I couldn't even tap into any of those other ideas. I looked at them. I was open to it. I kept praying and asking for what was in my highest alignment and what I was meant to be doing. And when I looked at all of those ways of how I knew to do things, I got crickets. And I know that that might be happening to some of you. And this was the part where I had to drop into the deepest levels of surrender that I ever did in my entire life and just completely free fall and allow myself to go all in on what my vision was. Okay. And I gave myself some space and I was willing to just go all in on it. And part of that was facing any of those fears. And what I found is it kind of reminds me of that meme where you have that picture of the hand of the universe pushing the person off the ledge, but then the hand of the universe is there to catch them. Okay. That is the essence and energy that some of you may find yourself in. I'm not telling you what to do. I'm actually acknowledging the importance of this process and that there is no one that can tell you the answers. This is a part where you drop into your own surrender and your own self trust and truly follow what your heart is telling you. There may be some fears present. That's okay. They're honor those. They're real. It's all okay. It doesn't make you wrong or bad. It's part of being human. But then I want you to drop deeper into what actually feels correct for your heart. And then ask for your action steps from there, my loves. Okay. I just wanted to bring that through for you to ponder in your own way, of course. So much love to you. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. I hope that this was helpful. And again, feel free to let me know in the comments. Much love. Bye.